Hi, I'm Chris Bishop and welcome to My Business Rules. Now I'm in Santon, the business district of Johannesburg, where they say the streets are paved with gold. I'm not so sure about that, but what I do know is that there are two entrepreneurs, brother and sister, in this tower there who are making a fortune from trading gold.
My name is Irfan Pardesi. I'm a co-founder of a $500 million company called ACM Gold. My business rules because we know why we do what we do. We're not concerned about what we do. It's more about why we do it. The world doesn't need another brand, and we understand that fully. What we essentially do is we actually help entrepreneurs leverage off the 10 years of culture, organizational, market experience that we have, and we actually try and give them that last push. You know, every hungry individual is looking for that last push to become that entrepreneur, and we give them that ability to actually establish their own businesses, and we also give them access to our market so they can sell these products and get going.
So I'm here with the founders here of this company, entrepreneurs Hina Kassam and Irfan Pardesi. So, brother and sister, it's not always easy, is it? I know blood is thicker than water, but sometimes working together with close members of your family. Sure. How does it go for you?
From day one, we've really managed to, have that understanding that although I'm younger than her, I look older. I'm younger than her, but she's really given me that authority to call the last shots. Yes, it takes a lot of convincing out of office. Sometimes you're sitting with the board and you're actually having a discussion, but out of office you just need to go out for a cigarette smoke and you have to convince her with a brother and sister thing. But all in all, it's worked out well. We've had a few rifts, we've had a few fights here and there. But out of the 9-year, 10-year journey that we've had, 4 years, we were actually not even working in the same offices. So we've understood, how to relate to each other. We've understood what our specialities are, what our weaknesses are. We've understood that how emotional she is and how emotional I am.
So Hina, is that right? You're emotional, yeah?
Yes, I always tell him water works with women. I start crying if something doesn't goes my way.
Now, how can it be sometimes they're working with close family in a business like this? It's real cut and thrust.
I think it's great. I think as a woman, it's great to work with your own family. You can excel so much. You can do so much. We have had our times when we've not agreed with each other, but overall, it has so far worked for us.
So, Irfan, you studied at
Sure.
the London School of Economics as an economist. You joined JP Morgan for a short time, but then the two of you got together and decided. What gave you the idea in the first place?
Look, that's the only thing we knew. Growing up, it's always been, I want to do something of my own. I want to do something of my own. And JP Morgan I joined that just to be able to support my family. I don't come from a very well-off background. And I remember my boss actually turned around to me one day and he said to me, Irfan, if you don't take risks in life, you'll end up working for those who do. And that was it, Chris. That was literally, I remember that moment. I just resigned, a week later I was out of there, and then we just went about starting our own thing.
And then Hina, the humble beginnings of this business. It was just the two of you, I assume.
Correct, yes.
How did you start?
I was working for a bank and then started trading myself. I was a trader. I used to trade with a local broker, and then we suddenly came up with this idea that let's do it ourselves. And we took the technology from London, didn't we? Yes.
Yeah.
And your first offices were where?
We're based in the UK. Yeah.
And what was it like? Was it borrowed computer, borrowed phones? I mean,
so there was some bonuses that came out. Hina sold her car. We got some money out of there. We actually managed to get into a serviced office deal, and but sooner than later we realized that money is not going to last us too long. So she stayed in the UK. I moved to Pakistan, which is where I was born. And we realized that the same amount of money will give us at least 6 months of runway to be able to run our business, and the salaries, the expenses, everything along the lines was a lot cheaper. And funnily enough, we went about getting people on board which were probably not the best people in terms of what the skill set was. All we cared about was are they hungry enough to come to work with us, and will they be sitting with us through dark and light, and they did.
And that first sale, that first transaction, most people remember it. What was yours with this company?
I think all of a sudden we got some online accounts and we got so excited. We used to work like 18 hours a day just waiting for these online accounts to come through.
And what was it like when they were popping up on the screen?
Exciting, unbelievable.
Really?
Yes.
And Okay, so then you started in the UK, but you moved to Dubai as well. We've got roots.
We did
Yeah.
eventually.
And then you came to Africa, Lagos and Nairobi, but it appears that didn't work out for you.
Look, it actually took us a few years before we got there. But over the years we had started realizing that, planning and research before going into the market is not something that we do. We still don't believe in it today. We're very gut feel people, and we use completely different gauges, to figure out if our kind of business would exist. So initially, when we started the business, we were trying to be somebody we were not. We were trying to be yet another, Western broker who was trying to market the products online. There was no importance of meeting people face to face. Whereas the culture that we come from, it's all about that physical human touch. It's all about having lunches. I would fly 5,000 kilometers to have a lunch, any day of my life. So when we started out in certain countries in Europe, we started realizing that this is not who we are. We're trying to be somebody we're not. And and business was coming to us when we had those personal relationships. So, as I said, we didn't do research. And how do you find out? I mean, you're a small company. You can't waste money on research. And we found a gauge, and we said to ourselves that in every country where travel agents work, where people are willing to pay a premium, to get those services over the phone, that's the country for us, where we're going to take an online thing, but we're going to work on personal relationships.
And that was South Africa?
That was South Africa, that was Nairobi, that was Madagascar, that was Nigeria, that was Pakistan, that was India, that was Malaysia,
And we'll just talk a little bit more about the business and its progress, but just the guts of what you do here. I mean, it's online.
Correct.
And it's over the phone here. I mean, people buy gold and forex. How does your business work here, in a nutshell?
We do get a lot of clients come in. We do have a lot of interactions with them as well. It's not only online. We said we help businesses to develop. It's not that only we do B2C. We do a lot of reseller. We do a reseller model. We have exciting projects coming up. I don't know, Irfan can maybe tell you about them, and we are really excited about that.
And just one thing while we're here, I'm sure a lot of the viewers will be interested. I mean, the gold price at the moment, where do you see it going? And is it still that safe haven that everyone says it is?
I think it is. I know that it's come off a lot, but gold investment is for long term. You cannot say that in 3 months, I'd make my money. But over the long term, yes, gold is a safe bet.
And one thing I'm going to ask you, Irfan, I mean, it all seems, a lot of people watching this say, oh, it's easy, you get together and here you are. Sure. In Sandton in Johannesburg, doing okay for yourselves. But what were your worst days in this business?
Many.
I think there's been a lot. But Chris, every single time we've tried to do a project with keeping the end goal as money in mind, we've always struggled. Every single time we've actually asked a question. I mean, we have an individual named Dano. He's done a lot of things for us. He's only joined us in the last 4 months, and he's really transformed a lot of things internally in the company. And there's some amazing people here. There's guys from all sorts of backgrounds. And whenever we have this chat, with the Justin, with the Jignesh, with the Dano, with the Nikki, whenever we have that chat, it's always about why we do what we do. It's always about what's the purpose of our existence. The world doesn't need another brand. It just doesn't need another brand. So why and what impact do we make on other people's life by being in this business? And whenever we have managed to answer this question correctly, we've managed to get far ahead. But every single time we're saying, let's do this project and we'll make some money out of it, like in Nairobi, we struggled.
What happened in Nairobi? Got to tell me now.
So we chose a local partner there. The markets were good, but it was all about let's get more customers, let's make more money, rather than let's understand the customer. Let's say no to people who do not believe what we believe. Let's find the partners who believe what we believe. Let's go out in the market, help other individuals set up this business, because now we understand the technology, we understand the marketing, we understand how to maintain a company culture, we understand the organizational skills. Let's just take this skill set, let's give it to other people, and let's make them run their business successfully. The 20% of that is, oh, by the way, all you can do is trade forex or sell forex. So the overall idea is, I mean, we love creating competition for ourselves. I mean, I have a very strong feeling that if FNB, for argument's sake, or Standard Bank was the only bank in this country, they would have actually had less number of customers that they have today. Because more feet on the street create that environment where more and more people get to know about your product. And if you really care about your customer, the customer loves you. The day the customer starts saying to us that we like you, I think we've failed.
And where is the business going now? I mean, you're here. You're seems to be reasonably settled in Sandton. But I mean, what do you want it to become? in the
Look,
future?
we currently, the exciting part about the business is we're currently impacting at least 2,500 households. These are people who are directly or indirectly employed by us. We're already in 11 countries. As I said earlier, because we don't want to be yet another online broker that is just selling a product and people convert automatically, which is something very easy to do, and people have been doing this in the Western world. We really want that even in this online world, we still really, really strongly believe in that, physical touch. And so we, against all odds, as crazy as it may sound, we are actually going a complete offline strategy. We're trying to open branches everywhere. We're trying to go to city by city, town by town, and that's where we see things will start, working for us. But we don't want to do these things ourselves, because if we do it ourselves, yes, it can make us more money, and yes, we know it will make us more money, but that's not the goal. If we'll move away from the purpose, and the purpose is to help other individuals to set up these stores and give them all the expertise that we've acquired in the last 10 years to these guys to run their established businesses, to establish their businesses.
As entrepreneurs, what would you say to people out there looking who perhaps want to get into this kind of business? Because, it seems to a lot of people on the street that it's fairly inaccessible, if you know what I mean. People don't think about trading gold and forex. What would you say to just a Joe blogs on the street?
Look, I believe, entrepreneurs, be it forex trading, it's an exciting business, and an individual on the street, as long as he's got the hunger and passion, he can be taught. So what's more important for us, and the biggest mistakes we've made in the past is, we went out about hiring, big guns. We thought they're going to change our business, but we realized that hunger and passion cannot be taught. So individuals, that are really hungry about getting somewhere, my advice would be just execute. And just ensure, that there is a purpose behind that business. If you're just doing it for money, it's not going to get anywhere. You really need to understand, the existence, the reason for your own existence, And if you want to change, if you forget about absolutely everything, every single interview you've ever seen in life, every book that you've ever read, every lecture you've ever, as long as you can remember that you'll always be an average of 5 people you spend the most time with, I think you can just be successful. So be very selfish by choosing with those 5 people, just be with those people that you would like to become. Ignore everybody else. With family, okay, you have to keep some. But this one is by choice.
But Hina, very briefly, entrepreneur, what do you think makes an entrepreneur?
Passion. You have to be passionate. You have to be willing to fail again and again.
Hina Kassam, Irfan Pardesi, 2 entrepreneurs making a fortune in the heart of Santon, trading gold and forex. I'm afraid that's all we've got time for on this edition of My Business Rules. From me, Chris Bishop in Santon, it's goodbye.